Okay, so I'm going to pass it off to the Fireside chat, folks. And Elizabeth Joseph, I think I told you where to find her, www.princessleia.com. You'll find all things Elizabeth Fabulousness. And Rob will be kind enough to ask her all the really hard questions.
You bet. Thank you so much. Isn't it so cozy here? Feel that fire? Got some marshmallows here for this fireside chat. So yeah, Liz, I actually did download this. It is available on Kindle, by the way. I had a lot of fun looking through it, and it's very obvious that you have actually written more than one book, because honestly, it's very well written. But what inspired you to write a book about common OpenStack deployments? Sorry.
So I speak a lot of open source conferences. And a few years ago, OpenStack sort of took over open source conferences. There were jokes about how OS and open source now means OpenStack. So there were a lot of specialized talks talking about OpenStack. And since I work on the infrastructure team for the project, I was often asked, and I'm a friendly person, people feel shy about asking me, like, listen, there's a lot of OpenStack talks, but what is it exactly? If you go to the OpenStack website, it sort of tells you that it builds clouds. But cloud is a loaded term, and so it builds clouds can mean a lot of different things. OpenStack's also built up of a lot of different projects, and it has a lot of flexibility as far as what it can do and what sorts of tooling it can bring to your cloud. So you've got things like object storage and block storage and container support, and all sorts of things it does with networking and DNS and lots of things. So explaining what OpenStack is gets a little bit complicated when you consider all these projects. It's a bit overwhelming when you first look at it. So what I want to do with this book was it is sort of a beginner's look at what OpenStack is by explaining pretty much some of the basics of what we mean by cloud. So by cloud, we mean something like Amazon or Google's compute or Microsoft's Azure cloud. Those are the kinds of things we're talking about when we're talking about clouds in this context of OpenStack. So sort of gently introducing the user to that. So that was the first part. I sort of wanted to answer the question of what is OpenStack for just regular sysadmins just like me. And then from there, I wanted to give actual real-world examples that people could take and actually deploy small demonstrations on their laptop or on a rack of hardware. A lot of the OpenStack books that were around when I started this were using little vagrant VMs or doing very localized things that weren't very realistic. They weren't using configuration management. They were doing things very, very manually. And in an actual production deployment, you would never really do that. You would use Puppet, you use Chef, you use Ansible. So in the book, I used Puppet, and I worked with my contributing author, Matt Fisher, who works over at Time Warner Cable, who has actually done production deployments with Puppet. So he worked on some of the Puppet configs, and I wrote lots of words around it, tested them all, and refined them, and we sort of came together and built this book of not only an introduction to cloud and OpenStack, but also going through several chapters using real-world configuration management tooling to actually deploy it.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about it is that it's just as it says in the subtitle, it's very real-world example focused. It goes through deployment scenarios and lays that all out. One of the things I'm kind of curious about is, I mean, what's your kind of opinion on the role of a book today, in educating technology and, the fact that the moment you put something in print, it's almost out of date, right? And you've done some other things, like the blog and a few other stuff. Maybe you can kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. I started working on this book about 2 years ago because I was working on, as Lisa said, an Ubuntu book. And when I wrote my bio for the Ubuntu book, my editor was like, wait, you work on OpenStack? You want to write another book? And I'm like, yeah, sure, how hard can that be? Okay, never write a book. Anyway, 2 years later, I went through 4 different versions of OpenStack while writing this. So I started writing my first chapters back on Kilo or something. And so I've rewritten that chapter 4 times. And with OpenStack, there's no long-term support release. I mean, you release every 6 months, that's every 6 months. So this book is based on Mitaka, which was current at when it was published, actually, which is shocking, but as of last week, not so much. But unfortunately, it's also running on 14.04 in this, which is the older version of Ubuntu, because I kept rebasing on the new OpenStacks, kept rebasing on new OpenStacks, and then it was like new Ubuntu, and I'm just like, no, it's going to take another 6 months to write this book if I redo it. So it's actually really, really difficult to write a book these days to keep up with technology. But at the same time, even me as a technologist, like I still find value in books. Like I have a Safari subscription, and I go on there and I'm looking for sort of definitive knowledge about things. And there is a lot of move towards videos and training. My publisher's trying to get me to do videos, and I'm like, I'm so tired. I just finished a book. You want me to do videos now? But we're gonna see about that. But I do think the books still have a place. At least it gives you as a baseline for starting learning about something. Even if you need to get the next edition in a couple of years.
I also do like that you do have an associated blog with it, and it does seem that you're going to continue to update that and try to continue with it, right? You wrote this with a partner, right, Matt, and I'm just kind of curious because it was focused on deployment scenarios, and there are many possible scenarios. How did you kind of rally on, the couple, and maybe just talk a little bit about maybe the flow of it a little bit, because I see the flow, because I looked at it, but maybe just summarize that.
Sure. So the big secret about this book, that's called Common OpenStack Deployments. There's no such thing as a Common OpenStack Deployment. I ended up with an entire chapter on networking because it's so complicated and varies so much across different platforms that there's no way to say this is how you do networking in OpenStack. It just doesn't exist because everything's so different. Also, the needs of organizations and what they need from their cloud, what kinds of components they want to add in are not really uniform. I mean, I've looked at a lot of people's clouds and none of them look anything like each other, even running OpenStack. So what I tried to do was I tried to sort of, I looked back at OpenStack keynotes, and I looked at the super user blog, which is the OpenStack Foundation's blog about OpenStack, and they interview a lot of users of OpenStack about their deployments. And I sort of picked a few things that a lot of companies do in organizations, governments, nonprofits, and I tried to look at what is most commonly done. So a lot of people do private clouds. So each chapter sort of introduces this is what a public cloud or a private cloud is. These are the kinds of organizations who are doing private clouds. So if you think maybe you're one of them, you can now follow this recipe and go through it and try to launch a private cloud of your own. So I did private cloud, which would be something internal to an organization. I did public cloud, where you're going to want to start tracking, monitoring, tracking the usage in the cloud. So how much bandwidth is used and other things.
Did you compare the cost?
Compare the cost? Not really.
Between the public cloud and the private cloud?
No, but it's really going to depend on a lot of different factors, so it was really hard to do that.
It's
and then
a toss-up, right?
I'm sorry?
It's a toss-up.
It could be. I mean, I use Salometer in the book as the metering software, and that actually adds a lot of load to OpenStack. So it may actually be a lot more expensive if you're going to do some sort of strict monitoring like that with the metering software. And then I go and I talk about object and block storage. So I have a chapter on block storage and I have a chapter on object storage because those two confuse people all the time. And I didn't quite realize it until I started working on OpenStack how people don't understand the difference. And I was like, oh, well, I should definitely address that. I also did a really short chapter on containers because I turned this manuscript in the spring. So a lot of things happened over the summer. A lot of container stuff has matured. So my chapter is really short, but it's in there. And then I also do a chapter on bare metal because using both containers and bare metal are becoming much more popular in OpenStack deployments. So those are pretty much the scenarios that I walk through. And that's sort of the meat of the book. It's just the basic examples based on what companies are doing, what I've been seeing around in the community.
So the book definitely focuses on deployment and kind of configuring these types of environments, and I think that's also one of your areas of expertise. And even though the second part of this meetup is going to focus more on monitoring and analytics and kind of the ongoing tuning and so on, but maybe you can say a few words about kind of the whole state of configuration management tools as it relates to OpenStack right now.
So if you go to docs.openstack.org, you'll see a lot of documentation geared towards manual configuration of OpenStack. So type this MySQL command, edit this config file. But in the world of modern operations, we don't really do that anymore. And this documentation is definitely geared towards people who want to understand all the internals and how they fit together. But in the past couple of years, Puppet, Chef, Ansible, and then Canonical's tooling, Juju, have really matured in the community. So you now have open source configuration management modules and recipes and playbooks to do a lot of all this configuration automatically, like we like to do in our ops world. So it's gotten a lot better. The Puppet modules that I use in the book are being used in real-world deployments. Again, my contributing author, he uses them at Time Warner Cable. The contributors who are working on those open source modules come from a variety of different companies that are using them in production. And the same can be said for Chef and Ansible. So they've matured a lot, and they're finally in a place where people are actually using them, which is really exciting because people were writing their own, or vendors were popping up with their own proprietary solutions. And I'm a big open source fan, so having the ability to use all this open source office tooling is super important to me. And I mean, I dedicated the book to the OpenStack community, and most specifically the public community, because if they weren't there, I wouldn't have been able to write the book.
It's really quite amazing when you think about it. I guess OpenStack was really conceived 2001, so it's about 5 years, right? I mean,
2011.
oh, I'm sorry, 2011, I apologize. I knew it was 5 years. Sometimes I can't speak. So really quite impressive in that way. Maybe let's open it up to any questions that you all might have.
Sorry, just for, Twitter.